Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's Dealer On webinar, where an expert panel is going to determine, are you an Internet Ninja Warrior? Well, you could win $1,000. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by Dealer On. For anyone who isn't familiar with Dealer On, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency. And we're best known for our amazing search engine optimization, the absolute best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, including the brand new Chameleon responsive website platform. We're so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that Dealer On is still the only company in the industry to offer a money-back lead guarantee program. So does your website company guarantee you a 50% lift in leads or your money back? Well, then maybe you should check us out at our gorgeous brand new Dealer On website, dealeron.com. Also want to let you know, Dealer On is going to be exhibiting and presenting at the upcoming NADA convention in San Francisco next month. So if you're going to be there, you got to stop by our booth, 5552W, and say, hi, I'm going to be there. I'd love to meet you. We seriously, best booth around while you're getting your NADA on. Please also check out the speaking sessions from these Dealer On executives. And
Jeff Clark needs a new headshot.
Does he? Okay, I'll let him know. And we have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have Jerry Thibeau and friends as our presenters today. Jerry Thibeau is, of course, the president and founder of Phone Ninjas, a company focused on helping dealerships improve phone skills. Jerry's success with clients has made Phone Ninjas one of the hottest and fastest growing companies in the automotive sector. Phone Ninjas was a recent winner of the PCG Spotlight Awards for one of the top 5 products of NADA 2012. Jerry is a 27-year automotive veteran and has earned the nickname the Phone Ninja for his ability to turn even the hardest of phone shoppers into real appointments that show. Having personally listened to and provided coaching feedback on more than 10,000 sales calls, Thibeau is the industry's best and brightest when it comes to evaluating a phone conversation. Jerry has written countless articles for the industry, is an active blogger on all the popular automotive social network sites, and is a top-rated speaker at numerous industry conferences. He can be reached at jerry@phoneninjas.com. Now, Jerry Thibeau has brought some of his friends to help judge, evaluate, and offer tons of advice on lead handling. Joining Jerry today, we're very pleased to have an illustrious panel of experts. Hold on to your hats, everyone, because today you lucky webinar attendees will be hearing from comedian and internet lead kingpin Joe Webb from Dealer Knows Consulting, technology guru and expert Eric Miltsch from Command Z Consulting, Dealer Refresh founder himself, Jeff Kershner, is also here, and no expert panel is complete without the famous David Kain from Kain Automotive. And of course, all of them will be available for questions and answer session after the presentation concludes.
Now, Eliana, you found some old pictures of these guys. I kind of prefer these pictures right here.
You have more up-to-date Oh.
Yes,
very
you can
nice.
see Joe and Eric are quite close. They often like to go to sporting events.
I miss that coat.
Do you miss that coat, Jeff Kershner?
I do. It kept me warm. Especially when I had nothing underneath.
I keep Eric warm.
Oh, Bill Clinton said best picture ever. Okay, well, just so you know, audience, those are wonderful pictures. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. Now, during the presentation, if you do have any questions, hey, we'd love to hear them. So please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. And please also indicate which speaker you would like me to address your question to. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, well, we're going to try our best to respond by email to you later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. So, guess what? Our good friends at Phone Ninjas are giving away, yeah, you heard it right, a jaw-dropping prize today on the webinar. One of the finalists in today's competition is going to be crowned the Internet Ninja Warrior and will win $1,000 of Jerry Thibeau's cold, hard cash. Now, you got to stay tuned to find out who'll be walking away with this $1,000 prize today. You don't want to miss it. We also have a couple of other prizes for you. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Also, At the conclusion of this webinar, you're going to receive a short survey. So fill it out. We're always looking for great feedback from our audience. Today we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all the completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. So let's get started. Our expert panel's ready. Are you an Internet Ninja Warrior? You could win $1,000. Let's find out. Jerry Thibeau, how are you?
I'm doing great, Eliana.
Excellent.
And we're going to start this off with a survey question today.
Yes, we are. This is your only survey, your only poll question of the day today. So we'd really love it if you'd get involved and answer this poll question for us. Now, we had 10 entrants to today's contest. 8 of them became finalists. Those entrants were all graded on their response time. We want to know, what's your response time? We want you to be as honest as possible, of course, so please select one of the following. Is it less than 30 minutes, less than 1 hour, less than 2 hours, less than 5 hours, or less than 10 hours? We want to know, what is your personal response time? Once we get those votes in, we'll close this poll, and we will share those results. And I hope you guys are being honest with me. Not everyone has less than 30-minute response time, guys. I mean, we'd love it if you all did, right?
What they want and what they actually accomplish are two different things often.
Yes. One of the things we're going to discuss, of course, is the average response time of all the people who did write in for this contest. So we're going to see, it's going to give us a great cross-section, and we're going to see what the average response time really is and what the average shopper is experiencing, and if you think that's an acceptable response time. Well, now with almost 100% of the people voting, thank you so much, my awesome audience, we're going to close this poll and share the results. Are you ready for this? 64% of today's audience said that they are Ninja Warriors and that they have a response time less than 30 minutes. How about that? 30% of... What did you say?
Interesting. What do you think, Joe Webb?
In regard to what they believe their response times to be, I think that's great. It's unfortunate perception isn't reality for what you and I see every single day when we monitor these people. But hey, I love it that we have such forward-thinking people that think so highly of their departments. That's excellent. That is excellent.
Okay, well, 30% of today's audience admit that they're about an hour. We got 3% of today's audience that say that they're less than 2 hours, and another 3% says it's less than 10 hours, and no one said that they were less than 10 hours. So now that we have that information, I think we're ready to rock and roll. Jerry, why don't you start off and tell us all what we're doing today?
All right, so let's get some prizes away right now because not everybody's going to win $1,000 here today. So let's have we got another question here, and you're going to have to just put in the comment section, and Eliana will pick the one that's closest.
That's true.
And it's a two-part question. What was the average? And the winner of this is going to get some pecan jacks. We're going to mail them out. This is a Corey Mosley company that he's a partner with. And these things are really awesome. I give them away out for the Guess My Golf Score game. And we're going to give some of these away today. It's 2 of them, in fact.
Yes, so we have 2 different questions. 2 different questions.
2 different questions, exactly. So
audience,
the first is...
I'm sorry, Jerry, hold on one second. Audience, we're doing this a little different. We're giving away the prizes now. We're going to give away the $1,000 prize, of course, at the very end of the presentation. So get to your keyboards. First one to write in the correct response or closest to the correct response is going to be winning a box of these pecan jacks. Go ahead, Jerry.
All right, so we had 10 entries, and the first thing I want to say is thank you very much to the entrants who did participate in this contest. It takes a lot to put yourself out there, and not all of you did that great, so understand that we're not making fun of you. It's us here trying to help you become better at what you do. So please take this feedback that we're going to give you and do something constructive with it and make yourself a better internet rep. So with that said, what was the average response time by phone in minutes or hours? What was the average response time by email? So it's a 2-part question. And whoever's closest to the phone and closest to the email, there'll be 2 prizes here. So go ahead and submit your entries and then I'll pull up the actual results here in a second.
Yes, and
Eliana, do you remember what they were? I told you yesterday.
yes, I have the answer written down, and audience, I'm going to caution you and tell you that this is the average of all 10 contestants. So even just one contestant who had a bad response time would have thrown the whole thing off.
And the panelists are welcome to submit guesses as well, and if they guess right, they can win the prize.
Really?
Yes.
They don't have access to the answers, do they?
No, they don't know the answer. They don't. Just you and I know the answer.
Okay. No one was... Oh, let me think. Okay, one guy is close. One guy is close.
The hard part is if you're including in the outliers, it can so drastically change everything.
Is it
The
close
outlier-
without going over, or just close?
So just the closest. They can go over, just the closest.
Okay, so I have somebody who's close.
Okay, now are they close on both of them?
They only answered one. They only answered one. They answered the average response time by email.
All right, so let's close this down and let's reveal the answers. So here is the actual answer. Average phone response time, you can see 4 dealerships.
Wait, they didn't answer the phone response time. They only answered the email response time. They didn't.
Okay.
They didn't get that part of the question.
No, they were supposed to put both in. But on average, it took 9.25 hours for somebody to pick up the phone and call. We had one dealer that did it in 3 minutes, another did it in 7 minutes. And for the average response time, we had one dealership totally skew the numbers. But without that dealership in there, it would have been a lot less. But the average was 5.4 hours. So who's our winner, Eliana?
Our winner, we have one winner for the response time by email, which is Rick Lowry. He actually guessed 5 hours.
Okay, perfect. So Rick is going to win some pecan jacks. Get his email or his address. He can send that to me or to you, and we'll get him some pecan jacks off in the mail. All right,
And then,
so here are our finalists.
Oh, okay.
These are our 10 finalists, and they're going to be broken off into brackets. If your dealership moves to the next bracket, you'll face off against the next dealership. And how this is going to be determined is we have 4 panelists, and the 2 panelists who aren't reviewing will vote on those 2 leads that are reviewed. If there's a tie, I will break the tie, and we're going to move it up to the brackets. The person that comes to this final spot is going to win $500. And then Phone Ninjas also rank the 10 leads as well. And if it's the same dealership, they'll win another $500. So there's $1,000 that can be won in total. And here's who's going to be reviewing each of the leads. We're going to be starting off with Joe Webb, followed by Jeff Kershner, Eric Miltsch, David Kain, and then we'll do those 4 guys again as we go. So let's go ahead and get started with Joe Webb reviewing Jimmy Britt. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically pull up and show you how Jimmy Britt scored. So we can see that they did send an autoresponder, and it took about, and these numbers are a little off. Joe, was it 24 minutes and 27 minutes that the email and phone call came in?
Yes, 24 and 26 respectively.
Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and pull up the emails, and we'll start with the very first email that came in, and you can go ahead and critique this.
So, if I may, I just want to reiterate what Jerry said because I think it was glossed over. At the end of the day, Jerry and we were promoting the fact that we were looking for the top internet warrior, and it is very indicative that there's so many people on social media and on the forums and from both DealerOn's, what DealerOn puts out, and Dealer Refresh, that as many followers as we have collectively, only 10 people were willing to put their money where their mouth is and send anything over. It really shows that even some of these top internet directors that claim godlike status are scared to death to actually have their people be scored or graded because consistency is very much what is lacking in lead management. So I want to say that kudos to the people willing to put themselves out there. Anybody who knows me know that I am probably a lot more regimented and disciplined for email templates and calling than others. So I don't want it at all to sound like I'm picking on anybody. I'll give good points and bad points on how you can potentially improve. As Jerry said, unfortunately it was listed that there wasn't an autoresponder. I believe this more than likely was an autoresponder as it hit.
Before you guys, let me just say one more thing so everybody knows how we did this. One of my Phone Ninjas employees basically submitted a lead. Once you signed up for the contest, one of my employees submitted a lead to your dealership, and they used a local call tracking number so that you would have no clue that it was us. And it could have been the day you signed up. It could have been 3 days after you signed up. So it was a total, complete mystery shop. Go ahead, Joe.
With that said, Jerry, you got to hire people other than young women because I think they get clued in, especially if they're Jimmy Britt. I can tell from the word tracks he was using that they could potentially be a Phone Ninjas client. But I do see an autoresponder was sent in. I believe this came in 2 minutes later. So my belief is this more than likely was an autoresponder. And I'll just point out a couple of the good things and bad things. The good thing is that he sent a message, and I like the subject line, a personal message from Michael, and I'm going to mispronounce the name, Gator, Goiter, Geider. But one way or the other, he did send it over, and he said that he's offering to answer questions. That is the good thing that I see. From most autoresponders have no value. This, in my opinion, being sent out has no value to the customer. You know, saying that you're willing to offer, you're willing to answer questions regarding the purchase or products or financing or the dealership. I think the consumer already knows that, so I don't foresee this specific autoresponder having a lot of value, other than saying, you know, if you have questions, I'm here to answer them, and sort of give them a name. There's a little spacing issue below the word sincerely, but that could very much just be a problem with the CRM. But that is the autoresponder 2 minutes later. As I said, it doesn't have a tremendous amount of value. It connects them with who they're going to be looking for. But if you want to go on to the next one. I love the fact that it's plain text and simple and gets through spam. So if that's the purpose of sending this, great idea. It has no links, no images, no different colors, no different font sizes, no images. So for those reasons, it gets through spam. It actually could serve a purpose if that's what you're using it for. So good job. The gentleman, his name is Michael, who did this. His email came in 24 minutes later, and he did ask a question. He asked two questions, really. What information can I provide you on the Traverse, and how do you prefer to be contacted? And I think one thing grossly missing from most email templates nowadays are questions trying to elicit engagements. Consumers are using us like we're the information desk at a mall, and we just give information and they expect us to ask nothing back from them. So I love that he's trying to ask questions, and I love that he's saying, is daytime or evening better? He's giving those typical two options, and most importantly, he added a video, and I'll have you wait to click on the video before you do, Jerry. If you're going to provide a personalized video, which he did, it's excellent. It shows your willingness to earn a customer's business and to do something that most others in your region are unwilling to do. So I really love the progressive nature of what you're doing here. Just for the purposes, instead of saying click here with an exclamation point, which can get you caught in spam, just hyperlink the words personalized video of the Traverse and make that entire phrase the hyperlink. And then the bottom sentence, if you call but cannot reach me because I'm with a customer, please ask for. There's no punctuation in there. Not that it matters. It's fine that you're trying to send them over to a sales manager. But if you can click the video, I don't know how choppy it's going to be. I'll just comment one or two things.
And you know, something, Joe, that I actually like to do is I like to put in VIP video and then put the customer's name as well. Because like you said, click here is a spam trigger phrase.
Yep. So as you open it up, he does a good job at it. I know we can. It slowed everything down.
The sound down. Hold on, what's that?
Jimmy Britt Chevrolet. Good,
So do that and hear you. So
yeah.
I'll just kind of pop through the video so they can see it.
I'll comment on it.
Go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, I think he did a really good job from a handheld device, mobile device, going through and giving a basic product presentation of the Traverse. So a lot of people, when they give vehicle video walkarounds, and this is just a tactic, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I love that he did it. It shows his willingness to serve the customer. But I think understanding what the features are of a car, vehicle video walkarounds have gotten very formulaic in the fact that we are sort of, what you see is what you say, and how we demonstrate vehicles is by just sort of reciting what is on the window sticker. And I think what consumers really want to see from this, above and beyond the video showing availability, is really highlighting those specific points, those specific options, and more importantly, highlighting you. When we get to the audio section, which we probably won't be able to play, Michael has an amazing tone to his voice. He is extremely friendly, extremely personable. It's like you've known him as soon as you hear him. And I think that is probably what more than likely makes him a really good salesperson. So great job doing the video, but I think the consumer doesn't just want to see where you work. They don't just want to see the car. They want to see who's going to be working with them. So take that mystery out of it, turn the camera around, and show you. Even if you were to look like a gremlin, which I'm not saying you do, even if you did, them being able to visualize who you are, what you look like, is going to endear yourself to them. So there's just one other thing that I would say is a benefit of sending that over. And the one other thing they did is, in the description of the YouTube video, if I'm not mistaken, Jerry, they even offer a $25 gift card to come in for a test drive, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yeah, I love that. I love that. You know, you spend a lot of money to get the lead. Why not spend a little more to get them to show up?
But I mean, and don't get me wrong, Michael didn't just talk about the features, because that's not ideal. He mentioned it, but he also talked about the benefits of those features. He talked about having a DVD and that it's for the family. Whether or not he knew the person had a family or not, somebody buying a Traverse with a DVD in it more than likely has some semblance of a family. And one thing he said in the video, which I didn't love, is he said, this car is like in stock and available and ready to be sold. And I don't think we need to remind people that vehicles are ready to be sold. People hate to be sold. They love to buy. So you could say, you know, ready to, you know, be delivered to your garage or driveway, something like that, as a word track might be better.
All right, perfect. Any other comments, Joe?
Just if you go to the audio, which I know we can't really talk on, I think
yeah,
he
so
is.
Let's go look and see how he scored on the actual phone call. So if we go down and look, so you can see our different categories of scoring the call. You know, the most important one, asking for the appointment, you listen to the call. I'm not going to have time to play the call, but just summarize the call.
The appointment, yeah, he even pushed for the appointment at least 2 times, if not 3. He had an amazing tone to his voice when he started. He confirmed the receipt of email. He did your traditional, speaking of availability, when would you be more available, today or tomorrow? So he did, you know, he made you proud with a couple of the word tracks. He sold aspects of the dealership. When she mentioned she had kids, he talked about bringing the kids in because they had entertainment for the children. He tried to say that he could send an appointment boarding pass, which is another one of your things, Jerry, I believe, if she was able to make an appointment. And he answered a couple questions and followed each answer with asking an additional question. I think the one thing he could have done is really try to set up a tentative appointment time or tentative call time later. But beyond that, the only thing that I see that wasn't really done in any of the leads or any of the calls, not that I'm saying he wants to open up that can of worms, but I'm a big believer in email communication, of both attaching, he attached a video, so that's fine, but reminding them of the price, confirming the pricing with the customer. Obviously something intrigued them about the vehicle. You're already putting your used car pricing online. You should be able to at least reconfirm the pricing with them in an email, just to remind them of which vehicle it is. But beyond that, I think he did a pretty good job incorporating in multimedia, having a good tone, and you know, he was back in touch with her 2 emails and a call all within 30 minutes. So,
the one thing, Joe, that he scored a 0 on future, and so I always preach that when the phone call is over, if you don't have an appointment, well then you better have an appointment to call that customer back. Hey Joe, I know you're not ready to make an appointment today. When would be a better time for me to call you? Should I call you later today or should I call you tomorrow? And that's obviously something he didn't accomplish on this call. So.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned, tentative appointment. But beyond that, he did well. So I think his emails were lacking. His video showed some opportunities for improvement, but it also showed he's willing to do some things the right way. So,
and like you said, he really needs to put himself in that video. When people can see you and see what you're all about, it becomes more personalized.
Yep.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. We're now going to move on to, I believe, Eric. I believe you're, Jeff Kershner is up next with Toyota of Wallingford. So, Jeff, we can see that an autoresponder did arrive. However, they didn't have a lot of time between when the person submitted and when it went. A personal phone call or a personal email came after the phone call. And let's go ahead and open up, let's close that one down.
Yeah, the auto response is almost within a 1-minute lapse. It's always great if you have a CRM that will allow you, if you are going to use your auto response, I like to use the auto response as more of a first response, and I think if you formulate that right, you can definitely get away with it. But at the same time, you got to make sure your CRM has the capabilities in order to do that. So looking at the first email, this is the way I like to go through this. I want to talk about what I like. What I like about this email is decent intro. I like the fact that they confirm the vehicle of interest. You'd be surprised by how many dealership first response emails do not do that. We got a decent signature line there. This is either a Phone Ninja customer or someone that listened to one of my webinars years ago because we've got the sent from iPhone. The thing I like about that, there's a little bit of urgency. It might be a little played out at this moment, but nothing wrong with that. I also really love the fact that they asked the customer within the email, would it be okay to text? And I think that's such an easy way to transition that customer from email over to a different form of communication that's a little bit more intimate. And we forget about that with our emails. To me, the whole purpose of an email is to transition that customer, to motivate that customer to the next step. And a lot of times for me, that next step is some other type of form of intimate communication, whether that be text message, ultimately that be the phone call, of course. Format it nice. We don't have a lot of, there's really no hardcore links. There's no images. It looked nice on a mobile device. We always got to remember that 50, 60, 70% of consumers now, depending upon your region, they're reading their emails on a mobile device. So make sure that the email is formatted for mobile consumption. We've got that with this email. Now, what I would recommend with this email, being that it is the first email, probably an autoresponder, but again, maybe used to the point where maybe, is this really an autoresponder? Someone could question that. The average consumer probably wouldn't know the difference other than the fact that it showed up within less than a minute from their initial inquiry.
Nobody's that fast, Jeff.
Yeah, I know. No one's that fast. No, I'm that fast, but whatever. So let's start with let's personalize the subject line. Let's take a look at the subject line. Reading some of the studies out there, I just read one from MailChimp not too long ago. We can increase our open rates if we personalize the subject line. Again, this can be if you're going to use your CRM, and this is going to be an auto response made to sort of look like that first response. It can be difficult because not all CRMs give you the ability to individualize or personalize your subject line. But if and when you can do that, we're able to track a 5% increase in open rates, but more importantly, a 17% increase in click-through rate. So if you are providing some type of click, some type of call to action, linking to somewhere, you've got a good chance of increasing that click-through rate. So definitely something to remember. Another thing, let's get some urgency in here. This is a 2013 4Runner. It's a used car, right? Let's get some urgency in there, and a lot of times this can be achieved with one sentence. You don't have to write a book. Achieved with one sentence. Something like, this is a really nice 4Runner. We've had several requests on this today already. Easy to do. Doesn't take up a lot of verbiage, a lot of space. Get it in there, build some urgency. As I go through here, no one wants 50 questions. We've got a lot of questions, are you interested in this exact vehicle? What is the best time, number to reach you? Again, I love the text message part, and maybe I would make that my one and only primary call to action. I would probably look at the customer's lead, sort of try to read that. What's their email address? Where do they live? Maybe, I don't know, put together something and go, okay, maybe I'm going to make my main call to action here. Hey, would it be okay to text you some additional information on this car?
Hey, Jeff, question number one, are you only interested in this exact vehicle, or are you open to similar vehicles as well? We could even personalize that a little bit more and say, hey, if I had other 4Runners on the lot that were really nice, would you be open to those as well?
You can always do that. I mean, we don't know this dealership's inventory. It might be the only 4Runner.
Right.
I mean, probably not because it's a Toyota dealership. But absolutely, thanks for pointing that out. But again, to me, I always go by, and I've always trained on attention, interest, urgency, and action. And they're the 4 letters you need to go by, AIUA. And that last one is always very important. That's your action. It's your motivating question. Hey, would it be okay to text? Would it be okay to text you? Would it be okay to call you? Permission-based. Think about that. And again, I make that it is the last sentence or the last sentence within that body of the email before your signature. It's the last thing I want them to read because, again, people scan emails a lot of times. You've only got so much space on the phone, so let's capitalize on that.
Hey, Jeff, you kind of ran through that real quick. For the audience, one more time, because I love the AEIOU. Let's go through that one more time, real nice and slow so everybody can hear that, and I'll pull up the next email for you.
All right, this isn't Campbell's soup, but yeah. AIUA, attention, interest, urgency, and action. That's the formula you need to adhere by whenever you're formulating your emails. And I don't care if it's an email that you've gone back and forth with this customer 10 times. You still follow that rule, attention, interest, urgency, and action. And if anyone has any questions at the end of this, I can go into that a little bit in more depth. But again, that action, let's make sure we have that action or that motivating question at the end of the email. The phone call, they had the phone call. They placed that phone call, and I think it was 35, 36 minutes. Not too hateful. I'd like to see 15 to 20 minutes, maybe a little bit sooner. But who's going to complain about 35 minutes? I think they did a good job. The phone call went well. I wouldn't say it was over the top. Ron was very friendly. He couldn't lock in the appointment because the customer had a wedding to go on the weekend. They had to attend this week, the wedding during the weekend, and it seems as if she was very adamant about not being able to come into the dealership. However, he did not push for any future appointment. He didn't push for any appointment to call back the customer. So maybe the weekend shot. But he did mention the fact that he's open on Sundays. I don't know what their hours are on Sundays, and I'll get to that point. But he could have at least maybe sort of pushed for a tentative appointment of some sort just to get something out of that customer. Again, remember, people hate to shop. People really do. We hate shopping. We just love to buy. I know I do. I mean, I like to shop, but I love to buy. I'd rather buy than shop for stuff, right?
All right.
So at the very least, what's that?
Any last feedback before we have Eric and David vote which one they like better?
All right. Well, hold on. Give me a few minutes. You gave Joe all that time, okay?
Actually, we're running very, very over time. It's already 12:30, and we still have 6 more to evaluate.
You had 8 minutes already there, Jeff.
All right. Well, let me get through this. Joe had 20 minutes. Okay. So at the very least, keep in mind, you want to take the customer out of the market and try and schedule something. The second email, what I liked most about this was the fact that they did confirm, or they did recognize the phone call. They said, hey, thanks for the phone call, et cetera, et cetera. So that right there was a big thing. A lot of dealerships don't do that. What I would recommend is he maybe followed up with a video email. Let's throw some more urgency in there. Let's let the customer know how great this vehicle is. They could be losing out on something. Nothing does better than that, than maybe a personalized video. Again, someone said something earlier, maybe we throw in incentive. We incentivize a customer with a gift card. We want to stay top of mind with this customer because of the time period that they're going to be gone out of the market because they're going to be at a wedding for the next few days. So overall, I think they did a really good job with this. I'd be pretty happy if this was a dealership of mine. And
all right, great. Thank you very much, Jeff. Eric, who did you like better?
Jeff.
You like Jeff's better?
Yes.
All right, David Kain.
I like Joe's better.
You like Joe's better? And I'm going to have to, and I'm going to have to be the deciding vote here. And I'm going to vote with David and Joe, simply for the fact that the sales rep from Jimmy Britt did make a video. So Jimmy Britt is moving on to the next bracket.
I agree. Same reason.
All right, perfect. All right, so we got McKee Ford up next, and that's going to be reviewed by Eric Miltsch. So let's go ahead and look and see what happened here. Now, they did not submit an autoresponder, which is not a bad thing because I believe that the first email during the daytime should be a real one. A phone call came 3 minutes later, and then they made a video, or an email. They sent an email 76 minutes later. And Eric, I'll go ahead and pull up the first email for you. Nope, not that one. Go ahead, Eric.
No, that wasn't the first email, was it?
No, that's the second.
Anyways, I'll run through this real quick for you here. We've got, I like the fact that they had the first call so quick. I agree with you as well that they, no need for the autoresponder during the day. I do like how short this is. However, I don't like the fact that there was a second email that was sent. I would have preferred to have it all just in one, but they did send the video, which again I do like. Just a couple little nitpicky things in here. It's just while this is nice and short and it's right to the point, just asking within the email, let me know if you received it. There's no need for that as well. And again, just more of my OCD type of style with the email signatures. I just prefer the signatures to be short and sweet. If you're going to add that link for the view our website, just make your McKee Ford Lincoln the active link. You'll see it in another example, the next one I do, but just keep those nice and short. But overall, I like this how it's short. And again, just to repeat, I think there was no need for the second email. They could have just put that in there. And then this other follow-up, the large images in there. I'd just be careful of that. I like the fact he's got the picture himself. He could have taken another step up with taking the personalized video approach. But again, at least in this connection, he did at least send the video to the customer about the vehicle.
And Eric, one thing that we talked about in the last webinar that we did when we did this contest before is, like before I clicked on it, those things come across as red X's, and sometimes people can confuse that with spam, especially when it comes across in when they open it in the email as well. So
another major thing to think of, everybody that's listening on the call as well. There's the probability that greater than 50% of these emails are going to be opened up on their phones. So you have to think about what these are going to look like there. But again, just a couple other little things, like that. Just answering the questions on the actual phone call that they had. It started off really good. He had good rapport, built the conversation nice in the beginning. He answered the questions well. They were talking quite a bit about the service and the maintenance and some of the certifications on the vehicle. it honestly sounded like he wasn't very confident in some of those answers. So my recommendation to that would just, really work through a very simplified approach, 3 or 4 simple bullet points to describe those type of answers if and when they do come up. But this was a great opportunity to be able to explain not only the features and benefits of their certification program, but really for him to sound a little bit more confident. In my opinion, he didn't sound as confident as he really could have been.
I want to interject here real quick. Scoring a 0 in the appointment means he never even brought the word appointment up.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. He never even asked for the appointment at the end of that. So it was, he told a lot of information, then it just dropped off a cliff from there. Again, it was really
one more thing I want to point out, Eric, as well, is they sent this video, but gosh, where's the personalization? Where's there a little bit more information there? And then when you click on this link, Eric, this is what you get. So he made the video private. You should make these videos unlisted and not private.
Yeah, the other part of it too is another thing that I've noticed, not only on this one, but even on the other responses so far. Where is the opportunity to personalize the experience from the salesperson standpoint? No, we haven't seen anybody yet that has a link to their own personal website as well. And there's a nice opportunity to really be able to tie that in and just add a little bit more credibility to that person, to the customer, coming from the individual salesperson.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Eric. We're going to move on now to David Kain, and David is going to review. Let's go and see. He's going to be reviewing Tom Ball Ford, and let's go look and see how they did initially. Let me find there. It's going to be this one right here. So Tom Ball Ford, we submitted a lead at 1:35 p.m. An autoresponder did come. The phone call came 26 minutes later and followed up by an email. David, what's your thoughts on phone call first versus email first?
My personal preference is if the number is provided and there are no comments made not to call, that you should call first and be brave. We're in the car business, and we're used to getting turned down, so a lot of times people are reluctant to call because they fear rejection, and they think a softer way to get rejected is to just send an email. So my experience personally, and my experience in working with some really great internet salespeople is be brave, step up, call, and be wonderful on the call, and you'll be in a position to win. And I also like to think in terms of while you're on the phone with the customer and the competitor is waiting for the email response, you've got the appointment while they're just waiting for the engagement.
Right. All right. Well, I got your first email up here for you.
Excellent. So, it obviously is a dealership. When you go back to this, I guess the subject line looks like it's all designed to go right into spam. We've got capitals, we've got dollar signs, and exclamation points. So I would be very sensitive about that. There's no personalization, nothing that says the name of the customer. I love the McKee Ford one where they actually put the name of the customer, so not to help my competitor there, but I did like that strategy. The start out saying, my number one priority is offer you the smoothest car buying purchase you've ever experienced. That's a really high standard. And when I think of the greatest purchase experience I ever had, it's got to include chocolate, maybe a foot massage, maybe some candles, something to that effect. So, that's something that I think is better left unsaid, and we often coach your process is your why buy. So if you're great with your process, you don't even need to describe how great it's going to be, just be great. So, this obviously to me looks like an autoresponder, despite the fact that it might be considered a first response. I think it needs some work, and I would say I give it kudos for the brevity of it. And then the concern I have is best way to get a hold of me. That's the last thing I really want the customer to do, is to have to get a hold of me. I like that language. It basically says, I will be reaching out to you as quick as possible, and you know, I'm going to provide, and let them know what they're going to provide. The other thing I'm concerned about is there's not a question mark, going back to Joe's point. Question marks elicit engagement, so the better we can engage, the better the results of an email.
All right, let's go look at your next email.
Okay. Okay. So this tag teams with the phone call, so we can talk about the phone call just a little bit here.
All right, so let me I'll pull up the phone call scorecard for you.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the interesting thing with the phone call is it was like being transported back in time, because the call basically said, "Hi, how are you doing? I'll knock $500 off the car." And he said, "I don't know which car you're looking at, but no matter what, I'll knock $500 off if you come in and buy today. And oh, by the way, I already have an appointment for that car tomorrow. That's not just a sales pitch. I really do have an appointment tomorrow." And I'm thinking, well, you know, the drawback to that is you're basically letting the customer know that if the next person who calls up and you get the appointment today and then you can get another appointment in an hour or 2 hours, it doesn't really matter, and you're not honorable when you're saying, you know, if you can come in quicker, we'll just deuce that last guy that was interested in the vehicle. So I think it was too old school for my taste, and I can see why you scored it so low. So that would be my assessment as well.
All right, great.
The other, when we go back to this email, you know, he's saying that we'll do better, $500 better on it today. Now, the next email is the real telltale, and it shows confusion inside the dealership. And one thing that we want to make sure that they work on is consistency with the messaging. So the next one came from an assistant that basically said, we will knock $750 off. And so that's obviously a concern, because the left hand doesn't quite look like it's consistent with what the right hand is saying. So, and it came from an assistant to the salesperson. So I know you're flipping around there trying to find it.
Yeah, I couldn't find that one, but I do remember seeing it. You know, that to me, David, says, hey, when you come in here, maybe you can talk us down $2,000.
Yeah, exactly. So you're really just setting that up, and there's no value being built. It's all about the price, and I think that's a real concern of mine. So you've got a great product. People love to buy. They don't like to necessarily just be given numbers. So I would say that good, you know, great effort. Pat them on the back and then give them the 5th place ribbon or whatever. But I think to earn the 1st place ribbon with the customer, we really do have to tone down the rhetoric on it's all about the price, and really start making it that experience we said it was going to be in the first place.
Yeah. All right, great. All right, so it's time to vote. Let's pull that up. Joe Webb, who do you like better?
So, you know, in both of these leave so much to be desired. It's really tough. I don't know if we can just cancel them both out. But I would say I mean, obviously one had an unlisted, or one had a private video, but at least he included a picture, but no real information or value. The other one sort of flies in the face philosophically of everything we train for lead management as well, as David was saying. And not to get into a discussion, but I, for one, don't agree with the call right off the bat, call first. I think that had its day, but I think unless you've done a modicum amount of research on the customer and on the vehicle prior to calling, very little can be discussed that shouldn't be already solidified in writing, and then an immediate call to follow that. But with that said, I would have to say it was Eric versus David, correct?
Yeah.
I would have to lean towards Eric.
All right. And then Jeff Kershner.
I'm going to give it to Eric. A couple of reasons. Most importantly, as David pointed out, it seems like they just kept coming down, offering discounts on the price of the car. I hate that. I really, really do.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on. Between Jimmy Britt and McKee Ford, each of you guys vote. Joe, who do you like better?
It's not a question. My guy's video played.
Okay. Eric, who do you like better?
Yeah, I agree with Joe.
All right. David Kain, who do you like better?
Jimmy Britt.
All right, it's done. Jimmy Britt moves on to the semifinals, or I guess the finals.
And it shouldn't just be Jimmy Britt, it should be Michael from Jimmy Britt, because in the end, he was the one doing it.
All right. Okay, let's move on. Guys, in the interest of time, I'm gonna time you to 4 minutes for each of these leads. So, Jaguar Fort Myers is Joe Webb. I'm gonna go ahead and pull them up here real quick for you. We can see that the autoresponder came in 20 minutes later. A personal email arrived 7 minutes later. So this, in fact, could have been a real email, but it looked like an autoresponder to my coach. And then the phone call came in whopping 1,197 minutes later. So let's go ahead and pull up the first email for this one.
Yeah, so unfortunately, and this is probably, and here's the problem. That's the autoresponder. That actually was the second email. But you don't have to go that. This is very indicative of a lot of dealerships that have those dealer.com ILMs that dealer.com trying to help dealers automatically sends this out. It has the word queries in it. You know, what did you call me? And I see this when mystery shopping, and speaking of 20 groups and mystery shop dealers all the time, this goes out unbeknownst to the dealer. So this shouldn't be held, they should not be held responsible for this. I guarantee you, Deb at Jaguar Fort Myers had no idea this was probably going out. It serves no value whatsoever.
Yeah, so there's not even a signature file of a salesperson. Let's go to the next one.
There never is. There never is. This is really not from them. This is from their system. Most people don't know about it. And it came 14 minutes after the personal email. They had a great response from the personal email when it comes to just telling them what they are and who they are. You know, we may have, they did ask a question, but it's not really a question. They said, we may have access to similar vehicles. Now, if you're interested, that's a statement, not a question. They attached a question. So unfortunately, she didn't ask a question here, but she does talk about some of the service they provide. Once again, if this was an autoresponder, which it very well could have been, in addition to them, it really had no value, unfortunately.
And there's really no signature file here either, Joe.
Exactly. As I said, it's from your internet team. It's from an individual named Deb. So Deb did call the next day. Don't get me wrong. A 7-minute response time with an email is awesome, unless that's an autoresponder, then it's not. Deb called the next day. She had a really nice tone. She had a fairly nice tone. She had a good call. Unfortunately, and this could be indicative of, by no means will I say cherry picking, the vehicle your team chose to mystery shop them on was not available. So that disheartens people. And I will say that she didn't offer any alternative or any alternate vehicles in that first email, and she didn't offer any alternate vehicles, or she did offer an alternate choice, and that's pretty good. She offered an alternate choice in the phone call. She kept the conversation going, and she used the email to set up the call, which is what we at Dealer Knows like to do, is utilizing the email to set up the call. And one thing that I thought was small, but I need to point it out before we move on, is she kept referring to the Jaguar or an alternate Jaguar that she was trying to move her into from a 2010 to 2012. She kept referring to it as a she. And it was a female sales representative speaking to a female consumer, and I thought referring to it as a she was great. I love humanizing the product. And then another email came up. Another email happened on the 26th. Didn't have any value in it. She did try to sell the test drive, which is good. Didn't ask any questions. Provided a full link, and said Happy Thanksgiving. So couple good things there, a couple bad things. Nothing that amazingly stands out. No multimedia really included much in it. And because she knows they live local when she speaks to them on the phone, so that second email very much could have been inviting to bring the vehicle to them, offering to bring the vehicle to them. As I said, that full link, there's not a lot of great information to hold on to there. Once again, she's trying to talk to them about an alternative, but you don't need to provide that full link. You can hyperlink that. And the link works.
Yeah. All right, great. All right, so now we're going to move on to, let's see here. Oops, wrong thing. Hang on. We're going on to David Kain with Autodome. So let's go look at the Autodome lead. So an autoresponder came 5 minutes later. A phone call came 6 minutes. What's that?
Autodome is Eric Miltsch's nickname.
All right, so David, let's pull up the first email. You can tell us about this one.
All right.
Oh, that's not it. Hang on a sec.
All right.
I believe, nope, that's not it. Hang on one sec. Let me go pull them up from here. Autodome. So I'm guessing this is probably the first one. There we go.
Excellent. Okay, very good. So up at the top, I want to focus on the subject lines because subject lines are what causes emails to get open. And I think when we have something real generic like thanks for your inquiry, we should probably engage a little better and give them some orientation because if it's a crowded inbox like most of us have, what inquiry was that about? So thanks for your vehicle inquiry or thanks for your inquiry on the specific model, something to help them out. So the email looks like a autoresponder. It doesn't have any questions or anything. I like some of the things that they put in here. Super excited to help you find the perfect vehicle. Do a lot of work in Canada. I love that use of language. I think that's fun. It's a short enough email. It would show up well on a mobile device. Autodome, we're extremely picky when choosing the vehicles we keep in stock. I think that's a good message. And it's more an inventory to us, and it's your next new vehicle. And so a lot of good wording, but it doesn't really cause engagement. So I think we need to weave in some sort of a question. Perhaps if it is a first personal response or regarded as that, I think that needs to be leveraged in there. I also like the use of emoticon. We're finding that customers tend to appreciate that and will utilize those back. So if we could go to the next one.
All right. Oh, that's not it. Hang on a sec.
All right.
This is one right here.
Says, thank you for speaking with me. There you go.
Yeah.
So I think that's good, and you notice it says thank you for speaking with me, and it's got Chad's name in there. I think the only thing he could have done that would have bettered that if he would have put the customer's name, so that way the customer when they're looking at it. So he could have put Brooklyn, thank you for speaking with me, or thank you for speaking with me, Brooklyn. It's good branding for him to have Chad at Autodome up there. I like the made a special video greeting for you. The only thing I would say, and I thought the video greeting was good, he emphasized that it was a personal video greeting, but it clearly was a just kind of a generic one. So I would just drop the name or the word personal because I think it would play better that way. He didn't use my name or didn't use Brooklyn's name in the video, so I would just make sure. This video I thought was good because to the point about Jimmy Britt, I was able to now see the salesperson. He was sitting at his desk and was basically just letting them know about him and what was going to happen next. So a short video, I thought the guy did a really good job of promoting enthusiasm. He seemed like a really nice person. I would want to buy a car from him because he just seemed that kind of a guy. So not much there except for him, but as compared to just showing the vehicle, he really stepped it up. On his phone call, I was really pleased with how he controlled the call. You could tell he was really working the framework of the Phone Ninjas, and I think he must have absolutely nailed it. He probably would have been making you very proud, Jerry, because he hit on everything. He worked extremely hard to get the appointment. He made sure they knew exactly where they were. He made small talk with the customer to build rapport. So overall, I think he did a really exceptional job, and I would work a little bit on some of the little nuances of his emails, and I believe this dealership could set some real sales records.
I think he had one more video in there. No, that wasn't it. Hang on. It was their hours and operation or location.
Yeah, so this was a funny one because if you could scroll over to the left there on my screen, I don't see the beginning side there. I don't know if we could bring that more full screen.
Hang on a sec. So if I do it like this.
There we go. I just wonder if these really are the top 3 questions that customers ask us. What are your hours? Where are you located? And how can I write a review? I don't know if that third one really would be the number 3 question, but yeah. I appreciate the fact that he put that in there. So it might be a little early in the process to start asking for that because the customer hasn't bought a car. But other than that, I thought it was a nice little follow-up email.
What would have been nicer there, David, is if he had put what type of reviews do our dealership get? Well, here they are with a link to
Absolutely.
That site.
Exactly. And maybe the question could be, are you a good dealership to buy from? Click below to see the reviews.
Yeah. All right, great. All right, well, thank you very much, David. And let's go on to the next one as soon as I close a few of these things down. Next we have...
Hey,
so with that,
are we going to vote on that?
Yeah, we're going to vote. So Eric and Jeff, which one did you like better? Eric?
David Kain.
Okay, Eric.
You mean Jeff.
Okay, Auto moves on. All right, Frank Anderson is going to be reviewed by Eric Miltsch, and let's pull them up here real quick. So here we go. A autoresponder came in, an email came 11 minutes later, but a phone call was a little delayed. Let's go ahead and look at the emails that came in from Frank Anderson.
Okay,
here's the first one.
While you're pulling that up, I just want to let you know that we are going to lose David Kain in about 8 minutes. So we got to fly through these last 2 and get his vote in as quickly as possible so we can bring on the next Internet Ninja Warrior.
It said there was no autoresponder. This is saying it is an automatic responder, and this email just kind of confuses me a little bit as well. It's just, it's long. It's way too wordy. It's just unnecessary overall.
I never recommend putting in that.
Yeah, there's no need for that. You know, if you are going to send it, simplify it down and just let them know exactly what the next step of the process is going to be. But if you jump into the other email, you can see really what's missing in the rest of this. This was the second time we've seen it too. They, let's see, I think it was either this one or the second one. They were asking, if you, they were actually asking, did you receive my email? Here's a little tip for you. If you really want to ask that question, just take it out and plug in this tool from HubSpot. It's called Signals. It actually integrates in with a CRM. It's a simple browser plug-in. It'll let you know when your emails are received and open. But beyond that, this email here, there aren't any links. Then if you scroll down on that, let's see. It's the second one actually. But on this one still, there's no links to the car. there's no links to the car. There's no other additional information on this. And this email kind of confused me as well. It's got the, again, it's got the image in there, but there's more benefits, and the benefits are really just talking about some stuff that, quite honestly, they should be, just should be understood that they be included. But this is what I really thought was missing, Jerry, was the part that's missing is the benefits to the customer. Where are the real vehicle benefits, miles per gallon, the safety, the economy, the comparisons, even
not to mention, Eric, the picture over it somehow went over the benefits, so things got cut off here.
Actually, that didn't happen. That didn't happen in the image that I saw of it.
No, it did come through okay. I think it's just your outlook there, but it did look okay. But the point is, where are the rest of the benefits to the client? And there's missing the opportunity for additional dealership services. But there's no link, obviously. There's no additional picks, only one simple pick in there. But this is the point that, again, I'm seeing, and I haven't seen it through any of the emails that we've seen today, was nobody was really selling the experience that the customer was going to get. And with all of these, you see the opportunity, guys, for the opportunity to really set yourself apart from all the other people that are sending out these type of plain vanilla emails. And it's so simple to really get this customer excited about, hey, you're going to come in and you're going to experience something new, something different, something better. And this is your opportunity to really get this. Jumping on quick to the email signature on this, again, just clean that thing up. There's way too many links in there. You don't need to put your email in an email link in there. Nobody ever clicks that. If they're going to email you, they're going to hit reply. On top of that, the phone call itself, Jerry, it was a good, simple intro. They started off, but unfortunately, she reached her at work, and she wasn't able to get her email. And the customer quickly took control of that and said, "Hey, I'll call you back." And it just again dropped off a cliff. And there wasn't Peyton didn't have the opportunity to be able to set an appointment for a call back there. So that was one thing to be able to to try to get to. But again, overall, there has to be additional resources in that email, whether it's a link to something else or even just simply put it in there again with those main benefits to the customer first. Put the dealership benefits afterwards. Quite honestly, if I got an email and said that, hey, all the purchases donate to charity, yeah, that's nice, but that's not helping me. And this whole thing is about the customer, and so you have to make it about them and what is it that you're doing for them. And again, there's the lack of personal video, and there was no individual personal website. And then I think we've only seen one email so far today that had a PS on it as well. That's something else that I would strongly recommend. Add that PS in there for an additional call to action or to get the customer to respond back in some way.
All right, great. All right, so we got one more to do. Let's see if we can't get this one done in about 3-4 minutes, Jeff. And that is the Golden Circle Auto Group. An autoresponder did not come in. There was no phone call. The only thing that we got from them was an email, a couple emails, and we'll go ahead and open up the first one.
Yeah, so this is going to be real quick. What I like, no spelling errors. They also included a proper signature. What I recommend, get rid of that image. It's not showing up there, but you can see the Xbox. No image. Get rid of the images. Come on. And if you're going to do an image, have an alt text. Go into the body of the email or in the code and change up your alt text. So make it a call to action, whatever. Subject line, 2013 Ford Edge, all run together. No good. Double check your CRM. Body of the message, way too long. No one's going to read all this shit. Come on. Especially on your phone. And then they throw in to do a TIM appraisal. I'm not a big fan of AutoTrader TIM appraisal piece, but my goodness, I would not put that. I would not link a customer over to the online version of that. That is a showroom piece. So I wouldn't suggest that. They included alternate vehicles all the way down past the signature line. I don't know what's up with that. Past that, the first email, of course, you said no phone call. Second email, again, to me, this is just a classic example of setting up your CRM to fire out auto emails. It looks like a template, reads like a template. Again, reread your emails. If they read like a template, rewrite them. Again, one thing I just want to reiterate that I do like about both emails is the fact that they do use a photo in their signature. So there's one thing the dealership did right, other than spelling and proper signature. I do like the fact that they included a photo in the signature. That's all I got for this one, Jerry.
All right, great. All right, so let's go and pick a winner between these two dealerships. Joe, which one did you like better?
I'd have to go with, once again, it's sort of like the second one. There's no clear, defined winner, honestly. I like the fact that Golden Circle at least incorporated in alternative vehicles and gave some pricing. Frank Anderson, it was 5 minutes ago and I can't remember anything.
Yeah, okay. All right, so Golden Circle's your vote. David Kain?
Yeah, I would say Gold Circle for some reasons, but I'd sell them because of no phone call, so I'm going to default to Frank Anderson.
All right, well, I'm going with Golden Circle, so Golden Circle advances. Between Golden Circle and Autodome, gentlemen, give me your votes.
Jerry, just out of curiosity, being the name of your company is Phone Ninjas and they made no phone call, how could you even do that?
Exactly. I agree.
Nah.
No, in other words, Jerry, David believes you should have voted for Frank Anderson.
You know what? So you know what? That's a very good point.
That's a good tweet.
I agree. But I think can you guys all of you agree that Autodome advances?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, now the $1 million question, or in this case, $500 question. Who wins, Autodome or Jimmy Britt? Joe Webb.
One did a great job of being personal on the phone, great timing, and sold the car very well in the video, and the other did a good job, didn't really provide much in the way of pricing, but sold himself. So at the end of the day, as much as I really like everything Michael did, and I viewed him, I still think probably, and I didn't get to hear the videos, it's unfortunate, but I'd have to assume based on the illustrious David Kain, as Eliana called him, how much he said that the gentleman from Autodome was good. I will, on the phone, I will have to go with Autodome.
Perfect. Jeff Kershner, who do you like?
I'm going to give it, oh man, that's a tie. Flip a coin just to go up against, just to go different than Joe. Jimmy Britt.
Okay, David Kain, who are you going to give it to?
Well, I think when all is said and done, it's always about the car. And when we remove personalities and we focus on what that customer is interested in, Jimmy Britt did bring the car to the equation. We always say, don't forget to bring the car. And so I'd go with Jimmy Britt because of the fact they brought the car.
That's what I need to say.
And Eric Miltsch.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Jimmy Britt as well.
Okay, well, congratulations, Jimmy Britt. You just won $500. Now, I do want to show you, gentlemen.
Yay, Jimmy Britt! Michael and Jimmy Britt!
I do want to show you, gentlemen, how we scored these, because we looked at a lot of stuff when we scored these. And on the overall scorecard, Autodome scored higher than Jimmy Britt. So, Autodome, congratulations. You just won $500 as well. And if you want to see where your dealership ranked, you can see here on the list where your dealership ranked. And if your dealership's on here, you'd like to get a copy of this, feel free to email me, and I'll be glad to send you a link to your mystery shop so you can view all the results. And those of you who did not get a mystery shop that would like a mystery shop, if you go to our website, phoneninjas.com, you can submit a request to have us mystery shop your dealership, which is free Ninjas Mystery Shop. I just ask that you not already be a client and that you have never gotten one of these before. And if you would like to see a phone script for how you should handle an outbound phone call, just click on phone scripts here and you can have access to our phone scripts. Or email me. I'll be glad to email that one out to you. So we have two winners. Gentlemen, to get your money, you're going to need to sign up for a site called Dwalla. Or actually, just send me an email with your addresses, and I'll put a check in the mail to you. 500 each. And that is our session today. I want to thank the panelists for coming along. And I believe, Eliana, we're going to open it up to questions at this point.
Yes, we do have a few very pointed questions, specifically towards a few different people. So before we get to those questions, I know we have to let go of David Kain. So of course I want to thank David Kain for being here today, and I'm going to let you step out early. And thank you for your insight and your wonderful input. And gentlemen, would you like to also say goodbye to David Kain?
Take care, David.
See you guys.
Thanks for coming, David.
Miss you.
Miss you too. Bye-bye.
Bye, David. We'll catch up with you soon, okay? All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Okay, first question goes out to Jeff Kershner, and it says, can you go into AIUA in a little more depth? And that comes to you from Daryl.
So I would say to Daryl, give Daryl my contact information, because I can send him the complete article that I had written many, many years ago around that, and that's why it's so ironic that it's still very relevant. But attention, interest, urgency, and action, that's the whole definition behind each one of those letters, and we can go into more detail. But, you know, attention, you want to grab the customer's attention, subject line, maybe the first line of your email. Interest, you want to build that interest. Interest is always great, is always built upon recognizing what the customer is interested in. That always keeps their interest. Maybe it's something around some type of event or something like that's going on. Urgency, I talked on urgency whenever I critiqued the first dealership. And again, urgency can be summed up in one sentence. Hey, we've got some amazing, or we've got some fantastic incentives on this vehicle today. Don't elaborate on it. Don't go, oh, they're only going to be good until the end of the month. I mean, that's no good. I mean, people, you know, they're tired of that crap. So just say, hey, you know, we've got a lot of interest on this vehicle, or we've got some great incentives that could be ending this month on this vehicle or for the month. And most of all, most important is the action. You want that motivated question at the very end of the body of your email. Would it be okay to? Would it be okay to call you? Would it be okay to text you? Would it be okay to send you a value report on this vehicle? The purpose of an email is to get that lobby. You want that first response. Every dealership goes, oh, you know, I sent all of these emails and no one ever responds. Well, step back and find out, what are you sending to the customer? Are you provoking? Are you motivating that customer to respond? So that's a quick summary on that. If you want some more information, have him contact me. I'd be more than willing to share.
Okay, what's your email address? Might as well give it out to everyone, babe.
Oh, my goodness. No, Jeff Kershner, JEFFKERSHNER at dealerrefresh.com.
Thank you so much. Okay, great question, Daryl. I literally have one question for each of you, so let's go in order, okay? Next question comes to you guys from David Sharp. And David says, I'm noticing a lot of grammatical errors. I realize that I may be a bit anal about this kind of thing. Having said that, I think it's extremely important that anything that we send to customers be better grammatically. I would have had a bigger issue with those types of errors, just my humble opinion. I would love to get the feedback from our resident grammar Nazi, let's say.
We all know who that is, Eliana.
Joe Webb, how you doing, Joe?
I'll just start talking. I 110% agree with you, David. Very much some of these emails were abominations to men and women alike, and that is why I still believe that nowadays, in 2014 going on 2015, people handling our leads have to be specialists of communications, and we cannot just assume that every single salesperson, because they know how to shake hands and talk features and benefits, is the most adept at handling internet leads. So now, the only reason I didn't pick apart, first of all, we only got to see the couple that we were allowed to. The only reason I didn't pick that apart is because I think there were, no offense, so many broken, shattered things worse than grammar. When it comes to, I mean, we at Dealer Knows go into our clients' CRMs and spot check how thoroughly their lead managers are following up with their internet opportunities. And we grade them on different things such as timing effort, engagement, the content they send, if they're sending pricing, and a slew of other criteria. And we shoot these reports back to the management and the people themselves. And I will tell you that content weighs a great deal to me. It should be quality of content over quantity. But with that said, so many other things in regard to the effort, the structure, the formatting, the timing, the intent, all fell apart for a lot of these emails. Once again, I love that people put themselves out there and offered to be mystery shopped. They've got guts, and all the other, self-proclaimed experts out there, heavy on social media, that didn't participate in this. It just goes to show that, some people value their online reputation a little more. They know that their butts can't cash the checks, so to speak. So I credit the people that gave themselves up to this contest, if you will. But yeah, I mean, grammar should be looked at very seriously. Look through all of your emails, make sure that it's grammatically correct sentences, well thought out replies, well worded emails.
Excellent answer, Joe. Thank you so much. Great question, Dave. Love to hear from you. And I couldn't agree more, by the way, Joe. Those people who entered this contest, I know you were criticized and scrutinized, but man, it made for really great educational programming today, and we can't thank you enough. We did learn a lot from your mistakes, and we learned a lot from your triumphs as well. So we want to thank all of those people who entered into today's contest. I certainly hope we do another one of these or even more of these in the future. I think that they're fantastically, they're just filled with so much great information. And thank you so much for the great answer, Joe. Next question comes from Daryl. He says, how do we get those phone scripts from Jerry? Jerry?
Basically they go to my website, phoneninjas.com, and there's a tab at the top that, that's right here. So phone scripts. They click on that, they give us a little information about themselves, and they'll get a link emailed to them with a link to all the phone scripts. And
awesome.
They will help.
Definitely.
Only one guy really nailed the phone call, and that was from Autodome.
From Autodome, yeah. All right.
Yep.
You know what? I didn't realize you have a slide with all their contact information. We should be on that slide when you get a chance, okay?
Okay, yeah, I'll pull that up.
Last couple of questions here. For Eric. Eric, Sharpie wrote in, what plug-in did Eric just mention that lets you know when an email was received and opened? Of course, Eric, you'd know that because you are the tech guru and you know all those kind of cool little
And I use that, Eliana, I use that tool myself as well. It's an awesome tool.
It's called Signals. If you go into, you can go to HubSpot, or you can just go into the Google Chrome store. You can find the extension there. But just go to HubSpot and look for Signals. You'll be able to find it there and read up on it.
It's not like spelled with a Z or anything. It's actually like Signals, right?
Signals.
Okay.
Signals spelled regular.
Okay, Signals spelled regular. Thank you so much for that. Great. All right, let's see. Sharpie wrote in, thank you. We have a question from Tony, and this one's for Jeff Kershner. He says, any stats on email open rates? Jeff?
Stats pertaining to...
I don't know. That's all. That was the entire question in its entirety. So
yeah, definitely have them get with me. What are the average open rates? If he's just looking for average open rates, that definitely fluctuate. Engagement rates, click-through rates, etc. And some different things that you can do in order to improve those. So maybe have them get with me offline. I mean, what I typically see, and again, it could be the difference is: are you talking about personal one-to-one email correspondence? Are you talking about email campaigns? And they really do fluctuate sometimes. So, just to throw out a quick average, if you're sitting at a 15 to 20% email open rate, not too bad.
when should you get worried?
Anything less than that?
Okay, enough said. Thanks so much.
And if I can touch on that, nationwide industry average, I mean not industry, nationwide email open rates are at 48%. nationwide. In our industry, I think, like, and I only look at the data.
I thought you said 48%. You mean 4 to 8%. Man, that seems low.
No. Open, like, I'm sorry. Open rates, and it just came out like through a big email marketing study done. It said 48% for targeted emails, I should say.
Again, there's a very targeted variable. You got to read this. Yeah, I'm with you.
It also depends on whether you actually open it in Outlook or just look at it in the preview pane too, which a lot of people do.
Lots of variables.
Okay. We have. Wait a minute.
And Eliana, if you have one more question. Oh, this is HubSpot right here. See this right here? Elvin Hunter is viewing full access to our. This is a signals report right here. Anyways, Eliana, I have another webinar at 1:30, so if you have one last question for me, I can take it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to bail.
I do. From Kent.
Eliana, I will stay on answering as many questions as you want.
Joe, look at he's a giver, this Joe. I love this. I'll tell you what.
I will stay on 5 minutes
Jerry.
longer than Joe.
Look at you guys are awesome.
I get my question.
Okay, Kent wrote in, and this one would be for you, Jerry, if you can stick around long enough to answer it. Don't you think that OEM mystery shops are shaping dealer lead responses and processes, and are they good or bad? Since you are like the king of mystery shopping, what do you feel about mystery shops, specifically ones from the OEM?
I think any kind of mystery shop is a good mystery shop because it holds people accountable, and I think dealerships should be held accountable. You know, manufacturers spend a lot of money to generate leads for their dealerships, and you know, if they're spending all that money and then the dealership's dropping the ball, then hey, I have a problem with that, and I probably won't want to. I'll probably give your competitor leads over you if I know that's the case. So I think mystery shops are good, and people should know that you're going to be mystery shopped. As far as coaching, you know, there's different schools to thought for for different ways to get the job accomplished. So obviously, manufacturers have done a lot of research on what works and what doesn't work, and if they have standards that they want you to apply in your process, then you probably should, but doesn't mean that we can't look at some of the other things that people are teaching and utilize those as well.
I love it. Well, I got to tell you, Jerry, you put together an amazing presentation, and I love your expert panel. Let's do this again. I thought you guys were awesome. You put out some amazing information, and I know that our audience members got a lot out of it. I want to thank everyone who came today. So Joe Webb, Jeff Kershner, Eric Miltsch, David Kain, and of course the great Jerry Thibeau. Wonderful presentation.
You're going to have to take control of the screen process because I'm closing it down right now.
You can't close it down. If you close it down, I can't do anything.
Well, no, can't you you're the presenter, so can't you take control? Screen sharing, I'll give it back to...
You have to give me keyboard and mouse, but you have to leave your computer on.
I'm giving it back to you right now.
No. We have to show your screen. I don't have your deck. You need to show your screen.
Well, this will show up on your screen because I literally have to start another webinar, so...
It's not going to show up on my screen. You got to take it back. You got to take it back. We have to close out the webinar, babe.
I can't. I got to go. I really do. I'm late for an appointment.
Eliana, we can hear. It's fine if we look at your desk.
Hang on. Let me give it to Joe. Joe, you're now presenter. Joe, you're now presenter. Pull something up. Show them Mickey Mouse.
Okay, I'm done. Okay, here we go. Everybody can see my screen. I've got nothing to hide. It's absolutely fine if you see a screen. I've got nothing on it. I would like to give really quickly a counterpoint to what Jerry said. Okay. I'm not a fan of OEM mystery shopping. I'm not a fan of how they do it. I think we've all seen spam emails where we've been asked to be mystery shoppers. I think the criteria that the OEMs sometimes give to the stay-at-home people that are mystery shopping their dealers are far too subjective. I think every single GM dealership, for instance, has received a OEM mystery shop report that stated like they received 100% and 100% of their website was functional and easy to use and find the information, and then the next mystery shop could say the same website received the 50%, that it was poor navigation and bad to use and not easy to navigate through. So I think that OEMs sometimes can be doing a disservice because people like Jeff and myself really try to stay on the cutting edge of what's working in lead management and what's not. And OEMs, at least back in the day, it's great they're focused on timing. It's great they're focused on some content. But I think understand that both dealerships and OEMs are slightly serving two different masters there. And I think, and moreover, lastly, I'll say I think mystery shopping makes people less productive. If I'm sending you a lead that has no propensity to buy, then I am slowing you down. One of the reasons that we go into CRMs and look at live leads examples and grade live leads is because it's not slowing your staff down. It's real-world scenarios. I used to hire high school kids to mystery shop all of my competitors in a 10-mile radius 10, 15 times a month just to screw them and make them less productive.
You did?
So, yeah, I think it can be it can slow people down, and I don't always love a consistent mystery shopping program. I love that OEMs are trying to get involved. I think there's different ways that they can.
That's a great insight. We do have one last question that came in, and I hope Eric would be able to help us out with this. This one came in from Tim. He says, how do you confirm the customer's email address with signals? We have a very poor audio connection, and he wasn't listening to he couldn't hear everything that you were saying.
Yeah, again, if you search signals in HubSpot, it'll take you to a section within the HubSpot website where they talk about how the process works with integrating in this with a CRM system. If you're just using it with your own personal email, you just have to simply install the browser plugin. But there's a whole section in there that talks about integrating it in. They claim that it will integrate in with any CRM.
Wow, that's a really cool tool. Is it expensive?
The personal side of it is free, but there is an upgraded package that you can get. And unfortunately, I don't know the pricing on the CRM integration.
Okay.
But I would recommend trying it out first, just so you can see how it works. And you can just you can play around with it like that. But then again, just going through the section within HubSpot, they have the details in there for CRM integration.
Really, really cool. And last question comes in from James. This is for Joe Webb. He says, ask Joe what is in the file for Peaks and Superman on his desktop.
Superman is just about everything that involves my life. I mean, you're not seeing it now. And Peaks is my travel calendar and pics that I want to share on Facebook. That's like things that I can pull up, drop, and get rid of and throw away. Superman is like a duplicate of everything that I've got inside my docs.
I love it. All right. Well, that was very kind of you to share that information, Joe. I would have told him to go pound sand, but thank you so much for that.
No, James Klaus won my last Dealer on Webinar award. Won it when we had the movie questions.
Yes.
And he still has not been able to take advantage of the free gift I gave him because of internal things at the store. So I've been in contact with James. Sooner or later, he's going to be able to utilize that stuff.
James, let's do it, man. Let's get it. All right. Joe, Jeff, Eric, thank you for sticking around for James Klaus said called out. That's right, James, you are. Joe, Jeff, and Eric, thank you so much for sticking around for our final minutes of this amazing Dealer On webinar. Thank you so much. Gentlemen, please, if you want to wish everyone a happy holiday or say goodbye or see you around at NADA. Are you guys going to be at NADA?
This will be the first one in 9 years I'm skipping.
Really?
Yeah, same here.
What?
I have a bachelor party to go to.
Yeah, I'll be. I'm going to be doing some work in Austin,
in New Orleans.
And Eric?
I'm still on the fence. I honestly don't know.
Eric is going to be participating in the 2015 Aerobic Championships, which will be taking place that same week. So Eric, unfortunately, will not be able to join anybody at NADA. Instead, you can tune into ESPN 6 and find the championships being telecast at that moment.
We already have some people who are writing in saying that you're a winner, Eric. You're already a winner.
Thanks for having me on this, though. And like Joe said, Joe's sentiments, it's awesome to see how many people do actually participate with these. And this is the only way you guys are obviously going to get better, is to take a risk like this and throw your neck out on the line and see what's see what you're doing and see what your competitors are doing. But that's the only way to do it. So I strongly recommend obviously doing more of these webinars, but obviously more and more dealers obviously contributing their efforts. So it's great to see.
Thank you. I couldn't have said it better, Eric. Thank you. And thank you to everyone, again, who entered the contest. And, of course, we want to congratulate our winner of the Pecan Jacks, Rick Lowry. Yeah, the Pecan Jacks, Rick Lowry. Rick Lowry won that. And then, of course, we also want to thank Jimmy Britt and Autodome dealerships for winning this contest. That was fantastic. So let's close out this webinar, okay? Gentlemen, like I said, thank you so much for being here. I look forward to doing webinars with all of you again in the future. We are, of course, way past the top of the hour. Any questions that weren't answered during the time allotted, we're going to try and answer them by email later today. I want to remind the audience a link to download a copy of this webinar recording is going to be emailed to you in just a few hours. Feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. Of course, our webinar is also going to be posted online within 24 hours. Just go to dealeron.com/webinars, and there you can view our upcoming webinar schedule and access any of our past webinars too. And hey, this webinar is going to conclude in just a moment, and when it does, well, guess what? You are going to get a survey, and we would love it if you'd fill out the survey. We want to know what you thought of today's presentation and the information presented. So please fill it out. We want your feedback. We're going to randomly select 2 people from all the completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. Can't win it if you don't fill out the survey. Don't worry, it's short. It's like 5 questions. Anyway, I also want to let you know Dealeron is going to be exhibiting at the upcoming NADA convention, and we're going to be presenting there as well. So it's going to be in San Francisco in January, so it's going to be next month. If you're going to be there, please stop by booth 5552W and say hi. I'm going to be there. We'll take some pictures. Who knows? We might have drinks, cocktails. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be fun, and we'd love to see you there. And while you're there, please check out the speaking sessions from these Dealeron executives. Invitations will be going out tomorrow for our very last webinar of 2014, How to Get More Shoppers to Your Website Inventory. And you may not realize it, but the Internet is the primary way people shop for vehicles and third-party websites and popular destinations for consumer research and evaluation. But studies show that 99% of people may not even fill out the lead forms, making it harder than ever for dealers to find and connect with shoppers. Would you like to get more shoppers directly to your website inventory? In this 1-hour webinar, LotLink's co-founder and Chief Product and Sales Officer, Denise Chudy, will share how innovative dealers are leveraging the LotLink's shopper targeting to effectively promote their inventory directly to consumers. With shopper targeting, these dealers are attracting 95% new customers to their dealership, selling cars between 44% and 58% faster than before, and realizing efficiencies of less than $100 cost per sale. If you want to learn how to get more shoppers to your website inventory, don't miss the last Dealeron webinar of 2014. And don't forget, Dealeron's weekly webinars are held every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. Got one more webinar before we close out 2014, so to get ready for the new year of webinar awesomeness. But if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding these webinars and our topics, hey, contact me directly. My name is Eliana Raggio. I'd love to hear from you. I am on all the automotive social networks. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Reach out to me or track me down online. Email me at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on another webinar in our continuing education series. Have yourselves a good one.